Okay. Day 2 after the shot. Arm was killing me last night. It's fine now. I wonder if there'll be anyone else out here. New Year's Day. I mean, New Year's resolutioners. Yeah, man. It's just weird. You can do cardio or you can be strong. You can't really do both. Okay. Somebody cut the grass. It's nice out here. At least it ain't wet. It's like Goldilocks conditions. You're jogging, man. It's not too hot, not too cold. A nice breeze going. What's up, Husky Love? Uh-oh, uh-oh! Give me, boy, give me! Something's going on around here. Somebody's on the roof. Huh. Hope my camera's getting all that. Weird. I don't think he was the one that set off the fireworks though. If it was a sniper, I'd been dead by now, right? Yeah. First, I'd have been dead anyway. That first shot, or the first pop. Is this one of those cases of you see something, say something? For all I know, that could be the guy that works here. And the fireworks are coincidence. I have nothing to collaborate any wrongdoing. All I know is that someone in this general area was popping off fireworks. I'm just trying to get my story together. When and if somebody says, hey, we heard something was going on out here, what are you doing? So just doing the sprints, man. You think he was supposed to be up there? Like I said, in this neighborhood, I don't know. People do stupid stuff so often that it becomes just commonplace. I expect something stupid to happen. That's why I don't even react anymore. I guess some high school guy was up there popping off fireworks. I don't know. Maybe it was the guy that works there. I don't know. All I'm worried about is my own ass. And that is You know, is there going to be somebody calling the cops? But come over here, ask the question. This is, why are you still out here? Because I think in my mind I overthink things and I'm paranoid, but I might be right. I just know the Dallas cops generally don't give a shit. powered battery operated devices. I don't know what to do with it. Alright. Tell you what, man, that light lasted a surprisingly long time. I think I got 4 days out of it. Which I guess means my exercise sessions weren't that long. There we go. Okay. Hit it and quit it. Oh, I got my fanny pack still. I thought I had it still open. I think you do. Yeah. Nope. Yep. Okay. What would you have lost at this point? The phone would have been the only thing. A heavy ass brick of a phone. Still there. Mr. Ellison. It's about that time of day. Let's put it away. Oh man, that was the last time I ever took something you would consider a shop class, because they cut all the funding and they weren't more shop classes. I never took wood shop, never took plastic work. My brothers tell me that wood shop, plastic work, metal shop. I did drafting. That was my shop class, drafting, where you took a bunch of you took the big giant sheets of paper and you had all your little drafting tools, and you drew mechanical parts. At Johnny Law, better late than never. He's like, yeah, were you popping off fireworks? And I said, no, officer. Saw a guy up on the roof in the red jacket. He saw me. He got off the roof. I have it on camera with all the pops. You'll be sitting there trying to load it back up, and it says 82%. And I was like, how can it be 82%? It's supposed to be a fresh charged battery. Anyway. You worried? I'm just hoping they know who I am. Not that I'm famous, just that I'm common. Please tell me I got that. You got that, dog. Where's my husky love? Come on, husky love. So yeah, YouTube was doing me wrong. I don't know what's going on with them. I suspect it has something to do with the fact that I'm using an ad blocker. But my playlists will no longer shuffle. I mean my music playlist that I listen to while I'm working out. And I don't know what's going on with it. And I'm too tired to try to figure it out. Like I said, I suspect it has something to do with ads, because after the song is done, this little thing, this like loader goes by, and then it just stops the video. And it happens on my Chromebook, it happens on my porn box, and it's happening on my just my regular surfing computer. So I know that it's happening at work. So I know it's not just, maybe you're just doing something wrong. I've got Chrome as the OS, and I got the Chrome OS and Ubuntu are doing it. Haven't tested in Windows. And I'm just like sitting there thinking to myself, well, they forced my hand. So I went off and got me a Spotify account. Of all the things I never thought I'd do, man. Hell, I'm even getting the paid Spotify. I'm paying for it. And then I found SoundCloud. And I was like, how is this? I was like, how has this not been shut down yet? But the way SoundCloud works is it's got a bunch of indie artists up there, and you just make your playlist from their stuff. And it's loaded with ads, but because I had the ad blocker on, I never noticed them. And then on my Chromebook, I thought that, you know, I would have to download the app, and it's like, no, you can do it in the browser. I was like, cool. What I hate about Spotify is they make you download the app, and then they put the ads in there. Some of those ads, I was kind of chuckling. I was like, this reminds me of when I used to have an account with Net Zero. There's Net Zero, and there's a bunch of other ones that had like Alta Vista and what was it called? Ask Jeeves. All the search engines had free internet, but there was a caveat. You downloaded the dialer, and then the dialer had like a little ad that would appear over your as a banner over your browser. And at first it wasn't a big deal, and then they started like choking your bandwidth if you didn't click on the ads, and then just outright like shutting it down, being intrusive. It was like borderline spyware or malware. So then people got mad about that, and they had these little scripts that you could download, and you put the script inside of the install folder, and they would block the ads. And then began the cat and mouse game of them trying to get, you know, them getting rid of the scripts that people put in there, and or the thing would just freeze up or it wouldn't act right. It was ridiculous, man. Eventually it was DSL, and then after DSL there was all the other different high-speed internets. And that was just a distant bad memory. The Spotify reminded me of that. As I'm playing with it yesterday, I'm just like, okay. At first it was just, there'd be an ad every once in a while, there was a banner down at the bottom, and video started playing. And what I usually do is I just close the app and reopen it. That was what I was doing last night. Anyway, that's what YouTube drove me to. Trying out Spotify for a year. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, all these different things that I go, like everything, it says, hey, for $9.99. That's like the standard, $9.99, $9.99, $9.99 per month. SoundCloud was like, for $9.95, $9.99 per month. And I was like, no, thank you. And then you start adding it up. $100 a year for a Sam's Club membership. $120-something a year for an Amazon membership. $99 for Spotify. $100 for each for sites you go to download files. And it just goes on and on and on like that. What else was I paying for? Walmart Plus was talking about they wanted, you know, hey, $100. And then you start realizing that all your subscriptions you're paying $1,000 a year. And you're like, damn. It's like, what? And it sneaks up on you. Imagine if I was still paying for Netflix. $144, $150 a year. Crunchyroll, $80 a year. Next thing you know, you're looking up and you're paying $1,500 a year, $2,000 a year. That's why I stopped watching a lot of TV shows. And everyone says, have you seen this yet? And I was like, nope. Everyone says, oh, you got to see The Mandalorian. I was like, no, I don't. Oh, you got to see Game of Thrones. No, I don't. A new season of some anime show came on. Okay, I'll have to take your word for it that it's good. And yes, I'm cheap, and that's why I can live comfortably, because I'm cheap. There's all these other people telling me the stuff they're talking about. Yeah, I got all these student loans, and I got this car note to pay, and my rent's going up. These are the same people that are telling me, you got to watch The Mandalorian. Where do you think your money's going, dude? Oh yeah, that's what it was, video games. You know, you're paying for video games. I go to Comixology and I buy the book, you know, the books that I've sampled on other sites. What are you gonna be doing tonight? Watching women's athletics. Maybe catching highlights of the Mavericks if they play. Well, it's heartbreaking to watch them. Everybody's either beat up or got COVID. And so they're a team playing without rhythm. So anyway, I'll probably be watching women gyrating in tight clothing. And, I'm sorry, excuse me, women athletics. Women athletics. Golly, such a sexist pig. And, recreate my playlists. And the cool thing about all this is I'm starting to build interesting new playlists. I'm not saying that with over 1,000 songs my old one was getting stale, but I'm hearing stuff that I never heard before, remembering stuff that I forgot. There's a lot of chip tunes out there, man. It's not all just remakes of popular titles. There's a dude on there called Nexard, and his works are like symphonies. There's cacophony, there's a dynamic range, there's the stylings of a fugue. Blood sugar low, looks like it. Lightheaded. Maybe that's why it's hard for me to do cardio, man. That is why it's hard to do cardio. I've been eating a lot of protein, but and getting, you know, nice and ripped, but the price I'm paying is getting harder and harder to walk and run. And you think I'd remember that when I was, it's not like I'm trying Atkins or anything, it's just I have to be judicious with my calories. When I was doing Atkins, it was kind of like that. It was hard to do certain types of exercises. See, I was never a cardio guy anyway. I tried some when I was 16. I think maybe I've talked about this before. I tried it when I was 16 for football because I wanted to get faster so I could play running back. And I laugh about that now because there was just no way that was going to happen with what I was doing. I just became a very fit lineman. 16 was my best year. I was a stud, man. But back in 2000, I just got pissed off, and I was up there at Richland College, and the guy was saying, "Hey, you never tried jogging before?" And I was like, "No, man, I'm always out of breath." He says, "Well, let me jog with." He said, "Jog with me." And I'm going super slow, and I was like embarrassed. And he says, "No, man, just keep going, man." He says, "You're doing great." And it was just me doing this little trot step. And I just kept doing it. And at one point, I got down to where I was doing like 10-minute miles, which is impressive for a fat man like me. I was 250 pounds running. And then it just gets harder and harder. Maybe I'm wearing too much gear, I'm sleeping. Age, I don't know. But what this last 10 years has taught me is I'm not an athlete. You know, athletes take things for granted, maybe, I think. Because I don't think they realize how hard it is for normal people. You know, they can run 7-minute miles effortlessly. Got a TCL Roku TV. Are you gonna start singing the praises of TCL? I wasn't. Okay. I was until the I don't know who that is. I don't think he was honking at me though. Maybe, I don't know. I was singing the praises of TCL until their Android TVs. They detected spyware on them. Possibly going back to the Chinese government. I was like, what the hell? Anyway. Like I said, athletes I don't think realize how hard it is for normal people. If you're, you know, jogging just a mile a day or walking just a mile a day, I still salute you, man. Because I know how tough that is. You're struggling to lift 135. I get that. I was doing power cleans and I'm like 185, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do more than this. We're not talking about, well, yeah, okay, I was doing 185 as my last set 3 times. And I mean, it was hard. And I said, and then I'm looking on the internet, and there are 160-pound women snatching 225. That was disheartening. I was just like, well, these ladies are doing almost 2 times their body weight. And you're sitting here talking about, man, it is actually 2 times their body weight would be 320 pounds, but still they are damn impressive. They're doing 1.5 times their body weight. And here I am, struggling to do 185 with shitty technique. I am 43 years old, and I am not not going to be an Olympic lifter anytime soon. Why did you start doing it? That was Ronald's fault. This weird little Filipino guy, I used to see him working doing it. He gave me pointers, and then I started going on the internet, and it was just all these guys said the magic word. This gives you explosive strength. This gives you explosive strength. That's why I have my guys do it. They get explosive strength. And he's got a disclaimer at the bottom. He trains the Super Bowl. He trained the Super Bowl champion. Blah 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 blahs. And you're like, oh, I need to listen to that guy. Why do you do all those now? I have noticed, maybe not explosive strength because I'm not out there popping people or doing anything. What I'm doing is sometimes I'm lifting a printer up to my shoulders, and this is like a 70, 90 pound printer, and I'm just putting it up on the rack, putting it down the rack. And I watch the other techs just struggling, and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe this was worth it. Going up there and Dee's telling me about core strength. He says, school, you need to, he called me school, he calls me old school for some reason. He said, school, you need to, he said, act like you're going to get punched in the gut. Tighten your gut every time you're doing that. He says, you don't do that? I said, no, I've never done that before. Next thing you know, I'm finding out about how to lift from the core. I am always learning something. I've been doing this. How long have I been lifting? You started lifting when you were 15. How old are you now? 43. So 28 years? Yeah. But that doesn't mean it's 28 years of doing it right. It's 28 years of always learning little subtleties. Pushing off your feet. One guy had interesting ideas about how to approach the bar when you're doing the deadlift, and it helps me when I'm doing the regular stance. Sumo, you don't have to do much. You just get up on the bar, because you know the bar doesn't travel that far. That's one of the reasons I used to love training with sumo. I trained sumo, and then when we came to doing my competition, it was easier for me to do the heavier lifts with the regular technique. And you start looking at so many different guys. Alan Thrall was telling me stuff, or not personally, but I'm just watching his videos. And I'm watching Ripto. Sometimes when I'm desperate, I kind of sort of listen to the guy. I can't remember his name for Athlean X. Something about him seems kind of off. And then this bodybuilder guy was calling him out for using fake weights in his videos. And then somehow I'd gotten into an argument about who's natty. Is that guy natty or not? It doesn't matter. I mean, even if he's not, you know, people don't realize it takes a lot to be on the cycle, man. And I don't think that guy's doing that. But with all the supplements these guys are paid to hawk, you might as well be doing that stuff. Because, I mean, I just think that he was a naturally gifted athlete that looks, you know, he keeps himself really lean. If you ask me what I thought he was taking, he's definitely not taking, you know, steroids, not a ball or anything like that. I think maybe he might be on human growth hormone, but I mean, that's not necessarily a crime for guys my age, and I think he's older than me. The only problem with the only problem with a lot of these guys is they start taking that stuff and they do too much. Like the guy I was talking about, he called them mass monsters. And those guys were dominating Mr. Olympia for a long time. And now Mr. Olympia just kind of changed over to where the guys do, it's really more about the aesthetic. Looking like Arnold did back in the day, I guess. Am I going to be a bodybuilder? No. I'm not going to be a bodybuilder for the same reason that guy. And that guy also convinced me. I went on his channel and I was thinking about getting a body lift. Because I got, no matter what what happens, I think I got loose skin. And I was getting ready to consult the surgeon and everything. And then one guy said, yeah, it's not worth it. He had, not him, but the guy who was on his show was on there, and he says, yeah, I got it, and it's just not worth it. He says, the problem is that, you know, it takes so long to recover. Then after you recovered, he said the weird thing is now you're starting to get fat in weird spots, like all of a sudden the fat appears around your abdomen and chest. Because they cut all that other, they cut the entire fat network out. And he was having some problems with fatigue. And at the end of the day, it just made it, he kind of reinforced what I was thinking is, it just seems so barbaric. They're literally skinning you alive. And mostly so you can look good. Some people have to get it done. Some people, they lost like 400 pounds. And their whole body just looks like a giant, looks like a parachute. That somebody just let open. And you're trying to walk and your thighs are rubbing together, and every time you wear something it chafes you. You know, they got to do theirs for infection control. But me, I'm fine. I just, every once in a while I was running, you hear it flapping. Clothes don't look quite right. But because I'm African American, a lot of clothes don't really look right because they weren't built for me. My thick ass and my big legs. It is hard to find pants that fit. So that was the other thing. I went on websites and I started learning how to wear the right clothes, and what I realized is I can't just wear what everyone else can wear. Even if I had the surgery, I'd have to start wearing, they call it relaxed fit, and they might as well just call it baggy. They put a little bit more space in the hips. You know, you might be like right now I'm about almost a 34-inch waist. And it shows. I put on a 38 pants, and I have to wear 38s because my hips are so wide. And it, like, it pinches in the crotch, it pinches in the legs. Now I'm trying to wear something that was slim fit. I was like, I just grabbed whatever was on the rack at Burlington, didn't know any better. I know now, though. Is something going on tonight? Man, I don't know. That's the other thing. I guess I'll have to watch the nightly news. I know the president was impeached. I stopped to think about it, and the president of the United States is a terrorist leader. And this is not me saying something that, you know, you see on Fox News or some kind of weird, outlandish, tin hat conspiracy theory opinion. It's fact. This man got a bunch of hoople heads to come down there, and they started tearing up the Capitol, and it looked like it was just some sophomore, you know, just some sophomore shit. And then all of a sudden you got people dying, and then they killed a cop. They're finding pipe bombs in the dude's car. Somebody has set out explosive devices before, and the bottom line, what it looks like is someone planned more than Trump was planning. Trump just wanted to block the vote so he could stay president. And he never realized, man, that basically you were enabling a bunch of armed insurrectionists who had a plan of action, and what messed them up was the smokescreen that they were using, the hoople heads rioting as a smokescreen. This is my theory anyway. They were using the hoople heads as a smokescreen, and they were going to go in there and kidnap some lawmakers. And it took too long for them to try to get through all the Capitol thing, and the security had just enough time to evacuate high-ranking members. You know, AOC's talking about she's terrified. They probably weren't going to do anything to her. They were there for Pelosi and Pence. Maybe some other high-ranking guys. They didn't get the targets they wanted. They were filmed on camera being in there. It was just a sloppy operation, whoever did it. Didn't really have enough time to plan it properly. Couldn't go through a dry run. And then you read stories about they might have had inside help from congressmen as well as Capitol Police. So yeah, there was a terrorist act by domestic terrorists. This is pretty much confirmed. And Trump became the patsy in all of this. I don't think he was smart enough to plan any of this stuff. Nah, that's kind of ignorant of me. I think he knew something was up. While I don't think he's Joseph Stalin level crazy or some other tin-horn dictator, I do believe he was in contact with some people telling him, "Don't worry, we'll handle things, Don." He thought he was just gonna, I think he thought he was just gonna shake up the guys a little bit, and it went much further than that. Like I said, who knows what he thought. I think the man might be generally deranged. I know I said before that I think he suffered a stroke. You think about all the presidents we've had in the past, at least Nixon had the decency to resign. This dude, it's been building for a while, hasn't it? A bunch of white supremacists have been wanting to make the Turner Diaries a reality for a long time now. And they thought with Trump in the White House, this was going to become their moment. I mean, they were literally creaming their pants when Black Lives Matter had started happening. They thought, oh, the race war is going to finally happen. And they just been trying to push it along, push it along. And it's like, people don't really want to fight, they just want to change. And when no one is acquiescing them with large mobs of armed minorities storming the capitals, they decided to take matters into their own hands. And we're damn near going to do what they did in Wilmington, Delaware over 100 years ago. Not Delaware, Wilmington, North Carolina. They were just going to take it by force, and then everyone else was just going to have to accept it. And this is the way it is now. The true Americans were going to take their country back. And if everybody else wanted to be a part of it, they were going to have to fall in line. This is the culmination of that. I was telling somebody about the John Birch Society. Those people were like the fringe of the Republican Party back in the day. They were part of the Dixiecrats and the Democrats too, but after Roosevelt and the Truman and the integration and the Great Society, all of those crazies flipped to the Republican side. And the Republicans have been stuck with him for almost 70 years. And it's crazy, man. Those dudes took over the party. Why did they take over the party? George Bush did a lot of damage to that party after his false invasion of Iraq and then the 2008 crisis. All the old guard Republicans like John McCain and John Boehner, they were seen as, you know, at fault. And ever since then, all those birchers, like some kind of parasitic plant organism in a big giant oak tree, have been taking over the carcass of what was the neocon Republican Party. It's crazy to see over, what is it, almost been 20 years since the 2008 financial collapse. 20 years watching the Republican Party just dissolve into what the sludge that it is now. And the weird thing is, I keep thinking that this stuff happens and they're going to be quiet for a while. Like whatever it is, it's a humbling come to Jesus moment for them. And maybe I'm not viewing this the right way. Now they're starting to look like a red giant star. It's burned through all of its easy fuel. Now it's having to sit there and use heavy fuel. And eventually what we're going to see is a supermassive party that implodes on itself. It's going to turn into a black hole. It's not the Republican Party is going to go supernova, it's going to turn into a black hole. It's just going to, nothing else to feed on, denser and denser, and it just collapses in on itself. And it kind of already is like that. A black hole is a place where the laws of physics are utterly perverted, where normal physics just does not apply. And so that is what this is now. It is a political black hole where the normal rules of politics no longer apply. A giant hole of chaos that annihilates anything that comes within its event horizon. And what it's annihilating is good political ideas. Okay. I was like, man, I had to have getting over 10,000 steps a minute. And it was like 10,900. I was like, okay. Tell me something. Thought that cop was going to give you a hard time. I understand what it's all about. I'm dressed up in what I'm dressed up in. He doesn't know who I am. He just kind of circled the thing twice, wondering what the hell was going on, and went on his merry way. Called dispatch. Yeah, there's a guy out here with a light and a camera on his head. Oh yeah, that guy's all over the place. Okay. I keep hoping that's what happens. Yeah, we know who he is, you know. Hell, they might even say my name. But I'd hate to think that he came out there because someone called him about the fireworks. I'm like, dude, I was able to get my run in. That took 15 minutes. You guys are late.